Now, those were some beautiful old machines. These days, old NASCAR stuff is turning into a gold mine. In this special report, contributing editor Bob Latford talked to Beatty McClure, editor of Collectors World magazine, to find out how you can get involved with collecting, definitely for fun, and maybe for profit.
One of the newest phenomenons, and something that's allowed people to get involved in racing vicariously, has been the collectibles. We're here at the offices of Collectors World with editor and publisher Beatty McClure to talk about how do people get involved as collectors, and where do you start?
Bob, probably the best place to start is in your carport, your attic, your utility room, your dresser drawers. You may, if you went to the races, you may have brought home an old program in the 70s or the 80s. You may have saved your ticket stub. If it should happen to have a driver's picture on it, it's valuable. Even if you were in the infield, lots of times they threw sheet metal over the fence when they had wrecks, and I know people that brought it home, and it's quite valuable now. If
you'd never gone to the races, how would you get started as a collector?
There's a lot of publications that have cataloged the stuff now, and you can keep up with it quite well, but you need to do your homework. There's a lot of good dealers. The flea markets, there's a lot of racing stuff in flea markets. You just kind of have to know what you're buying, so you need to do your homework.
Going back to the origin, when did all of this really get started? Where did it come from?
Well, what really started the ball rolling was when Jim McCulloch made the Max cards in '88. That really got it started, but there were cards before that. But some of the cards that were like, this is a 1972, what we call a STP card. It was given away in '72. It's about a $200 card now. A business card. That's a Ned Jarrett business card that was worth nothing, you know, and it's a couple $100 now because how many survived? This card was given away. This is a winner circle card. It was given away in '89. This particular card is about $800.
How does a beginner or a collector weed through all of this material?
Easiest way is there's lots of good dealers. If you like die-cast cars, if you like little trucks, if you like cards, pick out the things that you like. Don't try to collect everything. You can't collect everything. There's lots of stuff out there. Don't try to collect it for a profit. If you just collect what you like and you build a good collection, you're going to be happy if you ever decide to sell it.
What is the reaction among collectors, say, when a driver changes teams or a sponsor changes? What does this do to the items?
That means it's going to be a limited run. If he changes in the middle of the year, that's a winner. You know, a lot of drivers change at the end of each year. A lot of sponsors change. That just creates another collectible.
Let's see some of the items in your personal collection.
This is a die-cast collection, Bob. We've been collecting die-casts for a long time, so we have most all of them. But we were talking about collectings a few minutes ago. You don't, whether it's cards, posters, postcards, you collect what you like. This collection has different categories in it. This is the Earl, the Winross, the Matchbox. You don't have to collect all of them. You can pick out which one you like. These are the Convoys, and these are the legend cars. The guys are as old as you are. The 59 Chevrolets,
those
the 56
cars were new cars. I remember them.
You also have some old Earls, racing champions. You can pick what you like. Posters. These are my favorite collectible. This is a mid-50s posters of the Shelby Fairgrounds. It was a dirt race, but what's interesting is who promoted the race, Bruton Smith. These things were tacked on telephone poles on the side of restaurants, barns, and not many of them survived. So this is another one of those pots at the end of the rainbow if you can find one.
Oh yes, some of the old sandwich board signs. I hung many of those.
Yeah. Another interesting collectible is comic books. This is one of the first ones. It's a 1980, really 79 to 80, Richard Petty. If you bought one then, it was $250. You'd be lucky to find one for $50 now.
Oh yes. And the old postcards.
You bet. Another favorite of mine is postcards. These things, a big run of these things in the 60s and 70s was 1,000. They're true collectibles. There were people collecting them then, but not near like they are now. They can't be reproduced. It's easy to find a good postcard, and if you're lucky, you can get a valuable one. If you get one with an old driver's autograph on it, it's quite valuable. This is Fireball Roberts. Believe it or not, there's other forms of racing besides NASCAR. These are old dinky toys. They were made in the early 50s, but they're of Indianapolis cars. This little car here is interesting. It's 1964, but the Ford dealers sold them for $1. But it was Jimmy Clark at Indianapolis, but what's interesting to me is the Woods brothers pitted this car, and they made the fastest pit stop of the race. Statues are pretty interesting. This statue just come out a short time ago. It's about $85. This one was in the early 70s of Richard Petty. It's a couple $100 if you could find one.
That's so much interesting stuff, Davey. Thank you so much for sharing. What are those rags over there?
That's another good collectible. This is Benny Parsons' 1973 crew chief uniform. They probably weren't, but several of them. There's a lot of people who collect uniforms now, and some of them are really valuable. A one of a 7 it's got to be valuable.
Oh, yes. Well, it certainly sounds like fun, and I think it's something a lot of people can get into is collecting.
You bet. They just need to collect what you like and have a good time with it.
What a collection. Man, I could practically have retired on what I've given away during my career. But we just had no idea this stuff was going to be worth anything.